Our bodies perform these tiny, incredible miracles of movement every single day, and most of us don't even think about it. But there's actually a secret language that describes every bend, every twist, and every turn. It's this universal code that doctors, physical therapists, and athletes all use. So today, we're going to learn how to speak it.
Come on, we've all been there, right? You're at the gym or the doctor's office, and you hear words like flexion or abduction, and you just kind of nod along. Well, by the end of this, you're going to have a rock-solid grasp of what they really mean. You'll start to see your own body's movements in a whole new light. And trust me, it's way simpler than it sounds.
So let's just dive right in. We're going to start with the most basic, most fundamental pair of movements that happen at our joints. This simple back and forth is pretty much the foundation for everything else your body can do.
Okay, first up is flexion. Picture this, a bicep curl. As you bring that weight up toward your shoulder, you're bending your elbow, right? The angle in your elbow joint is getting smaller. That movement, that closing of the angle, that is flexion. It's the same thing when you bend your knees to sit down.
And of course, what goes up must come down. The total opposite of flexion is extension. It's just straightening a joint back out. So after you've done that bicep curl, when you lower the weight and your arm goes straight again, that's extension. You're increasing the angle at the elbow, bringing it back to neutral.
So let's just lock this in. Flexion means you're decreasing the angle at a joint, you're bending it. Extension means you're increasing the angle, you're straightening it. They're just two sides of the same coin. Simple as that.
All right, we've totally got bending and straightening down. So now, let's talk about how we move our arms and legs in relation to this invisible line that runs right down the middle of our body.
Okay, next we have abduction. This one sounds a little strange, but it's just any movement that takes a part of your body away from the center. The perfect example is a jumping jack. When your arms and legs fly out to the sides, that's abduction. You're moving them away from your body's midline.
And its partner in crime is adduction. So if abduction is moving away, you guessed it, adduction is moving toward the midline. And here's a super easy way to remember it. You are adding the limb back to the body. So when you finish that jumping jack and bring your arms and legs back in, yep, that's pure adduction.
So to put it simply, abduction is moving away. Adduction is moving toward. It's all about whether you're heading away from your body's center or coming back home. Out versus in.
Okay, you're doing great. We've got the basics down. Bending, straightening, in and out. Now let's get a little fancier and see how these simple moves can combine to create more complex stuff, like turning and making big circles.
First up, rotation. And honestly, this is exactly what it sounds like. It's just turning or twisting a body part around its own axis. The easiest way to think about it? Just shake your head no. Your head is rotating on your neck. You're not bending it forward or back, you're just pivoting.
And now for the grand finale of movements, circumduction. This is when you move an arm or a leg in a big circular, kind of cone-shaped motion. Think about a softball pitcher winding up to throw. It's the most complex motion we've looked at because, get this, it's not actually one single movement, it's everything we've learned all rolled into one.
So, what's the recipe for circumduction? Well, it uses all the ingredients we just covered. To make that big circle with your arm, you use flexion to bring it forward and up, abduction to take it out to the side, extension to bring it back, and adduction to bring it back down towards your body. It's this beautiful, flowing sequence of all the core movements working together.
So, we've named all the movements, which is awesome. But to be really precise, we also have to describe where in space these movements are happening. It's not quite enough to say an arm is flexing, we need a map to show the direction. And that's where these invisible maps come in. We call them the anatomical planes.
I want you to imagine for a second that your body is standing inside 3 giant invisible panes of glass. And each pane cuts right through you at a different angle. Believe it or not, every single movement you make, every step, every wave, every nod, happens parallel to one of these planes. Let's break these down real quick. First, there's the transverse or horizontal plane. This one cuts you into a top half and a bottom half, kind of like a magician sewing a person in half trick. Any twisting motion, like that rotation we talked about, happens on this plane. Next up is the sagittal plane. This one slices you right down the middle into left and right sides. So walking, running, doing a bicep curl, all that forward and backward flexion and extension happens on the sagittal plane. And finally, we have the frontal plane, which is sometimes called the coronal plane. This one divides you into a front and a back. And those jumping jacks we keep talking about, that's the perfect example of movement on the frontal plane, using abduction and adduction. See? These planes give us a map to understand every motion.
So there you have it. You now know the fundamental language of human movement. The next time you stretch, go for a walk, or even just turn your head, you'll have the exact words to describe what your body is doing and where it's happening. The secret code is all yours. So the real question is, what movement are you going to notice first?